used to call them amangilos. He calls them amangilos, like angels. Those who are angels, these are the ones who are actually promoted. And if you look at the promotion of Tepa, who actually testified here, you can see that she was promoted within a short period of time as compared to others who have more qualifications, who were there before her, who were appointed before her as EMPD officials. So for me, this kind of practice gave me sleepless nights. And I feel that with the program that I created, at least it alleviated some pressure from these women. But there are those who are actually part of the whole thing, whom he called angels or amangilos. I also record consent relating to...
Just to make sure I understand the point you are making here, are you saying that he had sexual relations with amangilos or the angels, and that as a result, the angels would then be promoted?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Or would be favored for promotion?
Exactly.
All right.
Can I ask a follow-up question? Doctor, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Are you stating that as a fact or it's a rumor that you heard? I'm sure you were watching news in the last few weeks. You would have heard about a term called mabarebare. Mabarebare.
It's not a mabarebare. I've been in the system. I know about these things.
So that was the testimony earlier on from the former Ekurhuleni manager, Dr. Imogen Mashazi, making those claims about female employees. I mentioned also she got into a bit of trouble with the advocate Selo, the evidence leader. Take a listen to that.
About the second part of that allegation, where this fathering of multiple children is through conduct amounting to sexual harassment, coercion, and rape. So, do I understand you correctly that some of those children were fathered following a rape by Chief Mapie? Is that your statement to the Commission?
Can you repeat your statement?
You can't, we can't, because you are looking at your phone and you are reading something on your phone, so naturally you will miss many of the things that I say. So we're going to have to make a decision how we run this. You are either with the Commission and you are testifying before the Commission, or you'd like some time to attend to your phone.
I'm trying to get information from my phone.
No, if you need time to get information, kindly address yourself to the Commission and request the time, and the time shall be given to you. But when a question is posed to you and you distract yourself by attending to your phone, I'm sure you'll accept that it won't particularly work.
Yeah, it's incorrect, and I apologize for that.
What is incorrect?
For me to be attending to my phone while the session is on.
Apology accepted.
Okay, so that was a bit earlier on, Dr. Imogen Mashazi. Let's speak now to Oren Singh, EWN reporter, who joins us. Oren, take us through this testimony. It's been a bit emotional, a bit heated, some big claims being made as well.
Mandy, I don't think you'd expect someone with a doctorate to have to be reprimanded by an evidence leader before the Madlanga Commission and spoken to like a child, essentially, for looking at her phone while she's expected to be giving crucial evidence and responding to allegations that have been leveled against her. The allegations are serious. We have heard in previous testimony that Imogen Mashazi, the former city manager of Ekurhuleni, was shielding the suspended EMPD head, Julius Mkonazi, from, or politically protecting him from any sort of recourse regarding some of the questionable things that he got and did while he was in EMPD. And one such thing was to enter into two unlawful memorandums of understanding or agreements with two of Vuzimuzi Kat Matlala's companies, suggesting that there would be an endless working relationship between his companies and the city of Ekurhuleni, essentially. This allowed Kat Matlala to move throughout the city and even Gauteng with impunity, essentially having some of his vehicles fitted with blue lights. Imogen Mashazi's testimony so far has been questionable. She spoke about the former head of EMPD, Isaac Mapiyeye, and that he is alleged to have been subjecting some of his female subordinates to sexual harassment and even on one occasion rape, that he fathered, inverted commas, multiple children with some of these officers. But I think the question posed to her by Justice Madlanga was quite pertinent, in that she says that despite her receiving all these reports from the time she became city manager in 2016, what did she do? She started a program that would concentrate on promoting women or officers within EMPD, but she never addressed the issues themselves. And Justice Madlanga coming down hard on her a bit earlier, saying that you're aware of these allegations from 2016. Up until 2025, you haven't done anything about them, and they're serious allegations. Female officers are complaining to you about being sexually harassed, being raped, and so forth, but you do nothing except to start a program to promote some of these officers. So some serious questions being raised about what she did during her time and her tenure as city manager of Ekurhuleni.
Her tone seems quite dismissive, as though she's not taking this particularly seriously. Is that fair?
100%. I would even go with complacent in the way that she's answering some of the questions. She seems distracted. She's kind of rolling her eyes at some stage, and you wouldn't expect that from someone who is essentially held quite a top position within a municipal level. And she's been questioned by people that are well renowned within the legal fraternity, and yet she's quite dismissive and not taking into regard what they're questioning or asking her, and not answering, I think, to her full capacity.
Oren, thank you very much. Oren Singh, EWN reporter. Let's go live now to the Madlanga inquiry and listen in to that current testimony.
Departmental level, in the face of such serious allegations, they have not taken any action against Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi. Did you just wash your hands once you became aware that they have not done anything in the face of such serious allegations? What was your part then?
When I became aware, can you repeat the question?
You say you referred them to the department. Mm-hmm. So there was an IPID report. It recommended that Julius Mkhwanazi be charged. Mm-hmm. You referred it to the department for Mapieye to do something about it. You also referred it to legal to have a look at it.
Yes.
And we know nothing came of either the Mapieye process or the legal process. Now you as city manager, in the face of such serious allegations that impact the city of Ekurhuleni, its credibility, its processes, because you've just said to us, if they entered into those memoranda, that's irregular and you would have done something about it. Now, I'm saying to you, when they did not do anything about it, what did you as city manager do? These are serious allegations, Dr. Mashazi. You can have a situation where a security company that has no relationship with the city of Ekurhuleni brings cars to Ekurhuleni and they are registered in the name of Ekurhuleni, and then they are given back or they are never handed over to the city of Ekurhuleni. And then that very security company uses blue lights. And they use those blue lights because there's supposedly a memoranda concluded between Ekurhuleni and that security company authorizing them to make use of blue lights. I mean, those are serious allegations. And to me, it's not good enough to say, I referred it to Mapieye, I referred it to head of legal. When they did not do anything, I also did not do anything. I find that very difficult to accept.
Okay, I take your point.
Do you have a comment?
No comment. We'll have a discussion with my attorneys around that.
Dr. Mashazi, maybe on this particular discussion, I know it's ahead in your statement somewhere, but maybe.
Sure, just to describe, Mashazi is playing with her earring. There was a smirk. There was a bit of a roll of the eyes. You actually have to see it to appreciate how dismissive she is and how she just doesn't seem to be taking this seriously.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Hi, good afternoon, Mandy. I just wanted to say about the military scam. I'm just relieved that the public figures that are involved in this Russian military scam, if you want to call it that, have been identified and are going to be held accountable.
Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Tip your way to glory in the Hollywood Bets Punters Challenge, the free-to-play horse racing game with daily cash giveaways and massive jackpot prizes. Pick all the winners on the race card and you could win 100,000 Rand. Bet 50 Rand or more on your selections using the Bet Slip feature and you could walk away with 1 million Rand. Visit punterschallenge.hollywoodbets.net today and tip your way to the top. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
And the award for the spiciest stunt performed in a bowl goes to Tom Yum Cruise.
Thank you everyone. Wow, what an honor. I'd like to thank the chilies, the lemongrass, and of course, Simply Asia, for believing in my flavor.
It's the summer of stars at Simply Asia. Stand a chance to win a Toyota Starlet when you spend 200 Rand or more on our famous flavors. Order now. Simply Asia, connecting the Thaiway.
WhatsApp Mandy
On 072 702 1702.
Hello, Mandy. I think this current witness is nonchalant, is insane. The way she doesn't even take this whole process serious. That's what it speaks to. It just shows you the nature or the kind of people we have at local government, because we don't think municipal government is important. Forgetting that municipal government is the engine room, is the closest government to the people. You know, it just and again, speaking about the president last night, I think he missed an opportunity to address punitive measures for people, this country who peddle lies to Donald Trump. I think they should be charged because we can see the effect of what they're doing on the country. Prince in Bedford View.
Yeah, Prince, I think I agree with you on that one. I think that there was more opportunity for the president last night that he didn't take. On the WhatsApp line, JB says, not to be rude, but what does she have a doctorate in and where from? So this was actually a big question of debate. I can't remember offhand what it was. It was maybe you can correct me if you were watching or listening. It was a DPhil in literature and nursing literacy, something like that, from UNISA in 2002. It sounded very odd, but Oren said he did check it out and it did actually exist. And there was a typo in her CV. So that's why there was a bit of a question around her qualifications. But thank you very much for raising that.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays 12 to 1 p.m.
To the court now, and 4 people arrested for the Russian mercenary recruitment scam appearing in court today. One of those suspects is a well-known radio colleague of ours, so we are waiting for developments around that court appearance today. There's been lots of developments around this luring of MK and other people to Ukraine for training. There's also an issue around mercenaries as well, and the fact that we have South Africans on the front lines between Russia and Ukraine. But an interesting take on this by analyst Mpumelelo Mkabela, in which he says, is it not time to adopt mechanisms to constrain Jacob Zuma's private diplomatic forays from causing damage to South Africa, saying that this is rogue diplomacy? Mpumelelo Mkabela, political analyst, joining us now. Mpumelelo, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. How concerning is it that we're continuing to see this diplomacy between former President Jacob Zuma and Russia, particularly playing out through the recruitment of soldiers to fight on the border?
Hi, Mandy. Yeah, well, it's very concerning. Well, first of all, let's start by saying there's nothing wrong with political parties or leaders of political parties making or forming relationships with other political parties or other organizations in other countries. So that happens all the time. The problem is when now this type of relationships eventually transform themselves to some kind of a military expedition or military recruitment and security-related stuff. That may compromise the country at two levels, at a security level, but most importantly at a foreign policy level. That's why Zuma's, what I call personal diplomacy that he's been conducting in Africa is very, very concerning. Even though at the time when, say, for example, when he went to Morocco and he hoisted South Africa's flag in the background, while at the same time announcing a policy that contradicts South Africa's foreign policy on Morocco, especially on Western Sahara. Even though at that time we didn't know that there would be allegations of mercenary activities related to Russia. But as soon as now that becomes well known as it is now, and his alleged involvement is now a subject of revelations, news revelations almost daily, we should now be very concerned that actually what he might be doing around the continent may not be as innocent as it may sound. It may not be as normal as you would expect of ordinary diplomatic activities. There's certainly something more to it.
And you argue that he is sowing diplomatic discord in undermining South Africa's state in particularly when you look at Russia, Ukraine. We've always had a consistent stance of neutrality, and he seems to be undermining this.
Yes, indeed. I mean, South Africa's position towards the Russia-Ukraine war has been that of non-alignment, even though that position itself is controversial. It's been a subject of a lot of criticism and all of that. But that's the official line from South Africa. The second line that South Africa took was that it would, together with other African countries, try to facilitate a peaceful resolution. We know President Ramaphosa went to Ukraine, met President Zelensky. He has been to Russia, met President Putin, together with African delegation, trying to hammer out a peace deal. Since then, President Ramaphosa has been in contact with both President Zelensky and Putin. And in addition, President Trump has now been part of that conversation. And Ramaphosa, notwithstanding the frosty relationship between South Africa and U.S. under Trump, Trump has been on a call with Ramaphosa on the issue of Ukraine. So South Africa has been trying to be the peacemaker, trying to find a quiet resolution on this matter. So when a former president who bears the status and the title of the former president of South Africa, and other people still generously call him president because they want to respect that title, when he does the opposite and he is seen to be facilitating recruitment of people to fight on the Russian side, doesn't matter where they were fighting, whether even if they were fighting on the Ukrainian side, it will still be wrong. Diplomatically, but also in terms of legislation. In the twilight of President Mbeki's years as president, I think it was around 2007, one of the last pieces of legislation he signed was the one that deals with mercenaries, that South Africans are prohibited from facilitating any mercenary activities abroad. So Zuma or anyone associated with him in MK or his daughter, if she's now involved, she's alleged to be involved, and there's an accusation now, there's an investigation. If any one of those people are involved, there would be that would be a crime. But I need to add this, Mandy, that the latest revelations around this scandal also involves another country which South Africa has got friendly relations with, and that is Botswana. It is alleged that there are two Botswana citizens that have also been recruited in Russia to fight in the war. So that might also now complicate our relationship with Botswana.
Yeah. Mpumelelo, very important points you make there. Thank you very much. Mpumelelo Mkabela, a political analyst, giving us his views on Zuma's diplomacy and the impact it has. All of this, of course, off the back of the fact that 4 people appearing in court today. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, joining us now to tell us about that. Alpha, good afternoon to you. Give us an update on that court appearance.
Good afternoon, Mandy. We've been here the entire morning since about 8:30 in the morning, thinking that it would be a very quick first appearance for the 5 people who were arrested over the weekend at the OR Tambo International Airport. Now, they are accused of being involved in that mercenary scam where South Africans are deployed to Russia to fight in the Russia-Ukraine war. They're facing charges of contravening the South African Regulation of Foreign Military Assistance Act, which prohibits citizens and residents from engaging in or recruiting for mercenary activities for unauthorized foreign military. So we've just been granted access into the courtroom a few minutes ago. We've been here since early hours, so it seems like any minute now the court case could begin. 5 people are expected to appear. One of them is said to be a media personality, a senior journalist, but at this stage we cannot mention any names until they are officially in the dock.
Alpha, thank you very much. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, waiting there for the appearance. 4 people due to appear in court, including a media personality. 12:31, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has accused former Ekurhuleni City Manager Imogen Mashazi of folding her arms and doing nothing regarding complaints of sexual harassment and rape of female staffers. This after Mashazi, who was appearing before the Commission today, accused EMPD Chief Isaac Mapieye of fathering multiple children with female officers, further alleging he raped one officer. Mashazi told the Commission she received reports of sexual misconduct by a group of female officers. Emergency service teams in Tshwane are assessing the damage caused by a hailstorm that has battered most parts of Gauteng. Some residents posted pictures online showing the aftermath of the extreme conditions from yesterday. Tshwane Emergency Services says the rains have led to localized flooding as well as infrastructure damage. While in the UK, 34 weather warning alerts have been issued for South Wales following heavy rain in the country. Forecasters say fast-flowing or deep floodwaters are possible, leading to landslides due to the high amount of rain. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
A very good afternoon. I'm Tato Moloto. Let's start in Belgium, where Bafana coach Hugo Brosh is naming his final squad for the upcoming African Cup of Nations in Morocco. Bafana's first game is on the 22nd of December with Angola. Brosh is confident that his squad that he's announcing today will at least reach the semi-finals.
I'm very confident. I know the qualities of the players. I know the qualities of the team I selected, the 25 players I selected. So we have to be confident and we have to try to do at least the same thing than 2 years ago, so arriving in the semi-finals.
We'll have more on those names just after the announcement. Staying with football, 4-time league title winning coach Gavin Hunt might be without a job soon. It is said that Durban City, the club he's currently coaching, have formally issued Hunt with a notice of their intention to terminate his contract prematurely. Speaking to SuperSport TV, Hunt's frustrations right now lie with that 2-0 defeat to Orlando Pirates at the weekend, a game he believes they should have won.
Could wrap the game up in the first half, but that's the difference in the level of the quality, bottom line. So yeah, I thought everything perfect, even in the second half, and then obviously once I got the second goal, it was game over then, but it's frustrating because we should have won that game.
For the Buccaneers, they're happy though they are currently topping the league table, and coach Abdesalam Owadu warns against complacency.
It's a good thing to reach at the half of the season that position, but the most difficult is to stay in that position. If you are not focused, if you stop working, it can be very difficult. So I press my players to keep focused, to keep working, because this PSL is a very high level.
Meanwhile, Cape Town is gearing up for a showpiece in Sevens Rugby this weekend. New Zealand started the series with a blackout in Dubai, with both teams winning titles at the season opener. They chased the same feat in Cape Town when they faced rivals hosts Fiji in the pool game. For the Blitzbok, they come up against Great Britain. In Formula One, it's 3 men, 1 trophy and 1 race in Abu Dhabi left. Lando Norris, Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri all in contention for that F1 title. Norris missed out on extending his 12-point advantage, this after his team made an error that also cost his teammate Oscar Piastri a podium finish, practically handing Max Verstappen that Qatar Grand Prix, but Norris has not lost hope.
Yeah, I mean, the car was good. Oscar finished second and he was very quick, so nothing to complain about. Just strategy as the second car is always just a bit worse, and had me over today. So, no, not even that. It wasn't even the fact we're the second car. We shouldn't have done what we did, so simple as that. I feel good. Actually not the best day, but it is what it is. So, looking ahead.
Tato Moloto, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in the Sunwood Park, Boksburg area heading towards Brakpan, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic due to roadworks on the N17 eastbound between Rondebold and Carnival City. Also, if you're traveling through the Kempton Park CBD, traffic is a bit sluggish. This is on Pretoria Road between CR Swart and Plain Road. Also, we still have those roadworks in the Calvin Alex area heading towards Midrand, causing heavy delays on the N3 northbound. This is between London Road and the Peclu interchange. Also, if you are in the mother city, expect heavy delays on FW de Klerk Boulevard. This is due to roadworks approaching Lower Church, and there's also roadworks slowing down traffic on Nelson Mandela Boulevard outgoing. This is in the right lane approaching Strand Street. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a work commuter. She's done this route 1,000 times. Perhaps she's daydreaming of a different job or just counting down to the weekend. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just another car in traffic, it's anticipation on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005, in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Tired of long queues and waiting times at labor centers? The Unemployment Insurance Fund, UIF, has made things easier for you. Now you can access UIF services anytime, anywhere through the UIF Online Services platform. Submit and track your claims outcome. Upload supporting documents. Submit a payment request. Check payment status or update your personal details, all from the comfort of your home or office. It's fast, simple, and user-friendly. All you need is an internet connection. So why wait? Visit uifonline.labor.gov.za/UIF Online today and experience convenient, efficient service at your fingertips. UIF, working for you.
At Isuzu, we know every delivery, every kilometer, and every load is building something bigger. This truck month, set your business up for success with special deals across the Isuzu N and F-Series ranges. Don't get left behind. Speak to your Isuzu truck specialist or call 08600 Isuzu and secure your truck month deal today. Isuzu, with you for the long run. T's and C's apply.
WhatsApp Mandy on 072-702-1702.
Mandy, my name is Albert. I remember when Russia invaded Ukraine, there were many, 80 or 180 South Africans, mainly black people, studying with bursaries from Ukraine. We are historically friends with Ukraine.
Hi, Mandy. How are you, Mandy? Mandy, as a family, we don't know what to do. Our young brother went to Russia about 2 weeks ago. He only told us once he's there, and then he said he's doing military training to fight in Russia. We don't know what to do now, Mandy. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to do, Mandy. We don't know. What must we do? Sorry, I don't know.
Sure. That's a really difficult one. I would advise you to go to the Department of International Relations. I understand that they are dealing with this. And also it depends on the circumstances. Was he lured there? Was it part of the MK contingent that went? Or is it something different? So I suppose it is circumstantial, but I think the starting point is always the Department of International Relations. But I think this affects more people than we realize. And if indeed people have been lured there under false pretenses, and that's why we're seeing people appearing in court now. So we are waiting for those 4 people to appear in court. We've also seen Duduzile Zuma Sambudla stepping down as an MP as a result of all of this as well. I think there's a lot more to it that we just haven't realized yet.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
We are awaiting judgment in a TRC-related matter, and we've seen a number of these matters coming up as part of inquests, and we've also seen the TRC inquiry underway as well. This one is to do with the Highgate massacre. And that is casting you back to 1993 when armed intruders entered the Highgate Hotel bar in East London, opening fire on patrons and killing 5 people. Those responsible have not been charged despite testimony at the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So that decision due to be handed down today. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, following that for us. Khomotso, just remind us, what are we waiting for here?
Well, Mandy, we're waiting for judgment from the Eastern Cape High Court on whether someone can be prosecuted for the Highgate massacre. You'll remember that there's been an ongoing inquest, and there's been testimony from witnesses, including some patrons who were there, survivors, as well as the family members of victims who didn't make it. And they've been shedding light, testifying on what they believe happened here. The Highgate massacre, happened at the cusp of democracy in 1993 on the 1st of May. And what happened there was that when intruders entered that bar, the impression that they created was that they were APLA members, and this is of course the military wing of the PAC, and that narrative stayed with the survivors as well as members of the public for many years. But years later it was then revealed, Mandy, that it may have been apartheid police themselves, special branch police, who were behind that attack. And families have been calling for special branch police officers who are still alive to take accountability and to be charged. Now the court must make a decision on whether the police officers who are currently alive can be charged, but also if there's enough evidence that's available to at least suggest some sort of culpability. We heard from the judge who's delivering judgment, Mandy, that he doesn't believe, or he's not sold on the idea that APLA was behind this attack, because he's questioned why, the APLA members who appeared before the TRC didn't take ownership for this attack, even though they did for many others. So what we understand now is that the judge is sold, or it seems the judge is sold, that this was done by apartheid police. Now, whether there is enough evidence to prosecute someone is yet to be seen.
And the question then is also, are the people still around? Are there people still alive to be prosecuted? We have seen a number of these kinds of cases coming to the fore in recent weeks.
Yes. So, that's the case with many of these TRC cases. But I also say, Mandy, quite a bit, that it's not true that all the perpetrators of these crimes are dead or too old to be held to account. You look at the Caiphas Nyoga matter, which is in the Benoni Magistrates Court tomorrow, also for judgment. One of the perpetrators there is in his 60s and can absolutely stand trial and has been standing trial. So, with the Highgate massacre, I think the court, more than establishing whether the perpetrators, or the potential perpetrators, I should say suspects, can stand trial, they must establish whether there's enough evidence, Mandy, to prosecute them. I think that the courts must consider whether, once this matter is referred to the NPA for prosecution, the NPA doesn't sit with these files for another however long. So the court now must make a decision on whether, yes, number one, the people that are alive can be held accountable, but also is it worth taking all the way to prosecution?
And that's why the TRC inquiry also, or the inquiry into TRC case is also underway.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a case, the Highgate massacre story is the perfect example of what the TRC Commission of Inquiry is about, because the victims of the Highgate massacre, who I've sat down with and spoken to, have spoken about how they've made attempts for their matter to actually be prosecuted, but they experienced clear pushback from law enforcement, and they claim that even NPA, people at the NPA, officials there were working against the prosecution, successful prosecution of the people that they believe are behind these crimes, which is really at the heart of the TRC Commission of Inquiry. That Commission of Inquiry is investigating whether there were concerted efforts to stop the prosecution of those who should be held accountable. Now, what the judgment today is going to do, Mandy, is that it's going to, number one, show whether inquests, it's a perfect example of whether the inquests can result in anything for the families and the victims, but also it will then really assist with testimony and what will be heard at the Commission of Inquiry of the TRC, because then what we're going to be seeing is many of these family members, including the Highgate massacre victims, are going to be testifying at that Commission of Inquiry about how they experienced pushback, how they were ignored, how some people told them, I can't take your statement, I'm too scared. And that's really what this case is all about.
Khomotso, thank you so much for unpacking all of that for us. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter.
Elevate your flying experience with Lyft Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lyft.co.za today.
Some moments only come around once, like the Audi year-end sale. Get the Audi A1 from $6,999 per month, with no deposit, a 90-day payment break, so you only start paying next year. Plus, a guaranteed buyback. There's limited time to show up, but unlimited time to stand out in the Audi A1. Visit audi.co.za or your nearest Audi dealer before the 24th of December. T's and C's apply.
You know what success looks like. Now discover why focus is the driving force behind every success story. Catch 702 in conversation with Momentum on The Money Show with Stephen Krutters every Thursday, discussing the science of success. Step into the mindset of top financial achievers and discover how your thinking, behavior, and focus can shape lasting financial success. That's 702 in conversation with Momentum. Thursdays on The Money Show with Stephen Krutters. Momentum. Your journey to success on 702. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Mandy, you know, this problem with the MKP started when they were allowed to wear military uniform. So they've been toying with this military thing for a long time. There's no other country in the world where anybody can just wear a uniform and call themselves military veterans or military. There's only one army, that's SNTF. That's it. One uniform, one military. This will never end as long as we don't put a stop into anyone just wearing camouflage and calling themselves an army or military. Thank you. Was Israel.
Mandy, I'm sure people have touched on it before, but this whole thing with AfriForum and, you know, all the lies they're peddling in the States, I think needs to be addressed a bit more seriously. I don't think we're angry enough, and I don't think we've actually explored whether this is treasonous behavior or not. But in my mind, it's just treason. And now they're trying to backpedal and say, no, it's not because of them that Trump is taking such a negative interest in us, etc. But it's exactly because of them. It's nobody else. They started and caused this nonsense, and yet we're letting them get away with it. And I think at some stage we actually have to seriously address the situation. We do.
Yeah, I thought the president took quite a strong line last night, directing his comments at organizations. He didn't name AfriForum or Solidarity, saying that there are organizations within South Africa that are sowing division and this false narrative. And he said South African problems must be solved by South Africans. It's the hardest I've heard him on this, but I hear you on the point that as South Africans in general, we should be more outraged. Thank you very much for those WhatsApp voice notes.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
It is World AIDS Day today, and of course that raises questions around how far we've come in the fight against HIV, access to antiretrovirals, and what is happening with technology going forward. As always, excellent work being done by Becky Sisa in answering a lot of these questions for us. Mia Malan is the editor-in-chief of Becky Sisa and joins us now. Mia, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. Before we look forward, let's look backwards. How much have we done in South Africa, particularly in terms of making progress in the fight against HIV?
So, Mandy, thanks for having me. I think the biggest progress that we've made is in slowing down the rate at which HIV infections are acquired. And the reason we made so much progress is because in 2004, we started in South Africa to give free antiretroviral treatment. And when people take their treatment correctly, they don't just live longer, but they also lose the ability to transmit the virus to someone else. And that brings down the rate of new infections. But where we're at now is we've reached a bit of a plateau. For many years, it declined, quite significantly, but now it's no longer declining the new infections so significantly. And that's why we need to look at new things to do to improve that.
We now have medicine that can stop people from getting HIV, but inequality still determines who can actually get the drugs.
Yes, that is true, although the medicine that the latest medicine that we're going to get, which is an injection that you can take once every 6 months, and it's virtually foolproof to prevent you from getting HIV. That injection is called lenacapavir, and it will arrive in February in South Africa. And when we talk about inequality, this is probably the first time that we've seen an HIV medicine to be registered almost at the same time in the Western world and in a country like South Africa. This injection, it's called lenacapavir, was registered in the United States, for instance, in July, and it was registered in South Africa in October. Normally, what you will see is we'll get it 5 years later. So with lenacapavir, there is progress towards equality. What we need to do now is to see that countries like South Africa are able to buy enough of these injections and are able to create demand for them, because if we roll it out correctly and fast enough and we keep good enough track of it, along with other HIV prevention medications like a daily pill, for instance, then we stand a good chance in making enough of a dent in new infections to end the epidemic around 2043, 2045. But that would require us to give between 1 and 2 million people per year that injection between now and 2043.
What is the plan around lenacapavir? How's it going to work? Is government going to roll it out? Is it going to be mandatory for all young people? What is the kind of idea we're expecting here?
So I don't think you can make any medication mandatory. It's always voluntary. And remember, you're going to give it to healthy people.
Part of the vaccine protocol that young people get, or how does it work?
No, I think it would be creating demand, and that's the term that scientists use for telling people about it, making it easy to get it. So, if you say making it easy, maybe not always having to go to a clinic, but having mobile clinics that go into areas, giving other services at the clinics as well, contraception or things that young people like. So how it will work is our first batch of lenacapavir injections will likely arrive South Africa in February. We're not buying them. We're getting them from the Global Fund to fight AIDS, TB, and malaria. And altogether, we will have enough for about 500,000 people over 2 years. that's not nearly enough to make a big dent in new infections. However, our health department, our health minister is on the record of saying from 2027, when cheaper generics become available, the health department will budget to incorporate lenacapavir injections into their budget. And there are also plans to make it locally. The Department of Science and Technology and the Health Department and Treasury are working together. They have a goal of trying to be ready by 2027 to obtain a license to import the key ingredient of lenacapavir and then to put it together here so that we have sustainable supplies. Some experts are very doubtful that that timeline is realistic, but there are plans around that for us to become a regional hub to make it. And if we are able between now and 2043 to give between 1 and 2 million people lenacapavir, they only have to take it once each, according to the modeling study that was done, then we can make enough of a dent in new HIV infections to end AIDS as a public health threat.
Fascinating stuff, Mia. Thank you so much for explaining all of that to us. Mia Milan is the editor-in-chief of Biki CISA, speaking to us today on World AIDS Day.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a couple stealing glances at each other. In a week, their lives will change forever as they exchange their I-do's. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a love story on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Sure, your phone's from there. Your kids' toys? Definitely. But your SUV? No thanks. The Mini Countryman from 9,899 Rand per month with Mini Select Finance. Visit mini.co.za to book your test drive. Select offer only available from Mini Financial Services, a division of BMW Financial Services South Africa Pty Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Offer exclusively applies to the Mini Countryman. Initiation and service fee apply. Offer linked to the current prime rate, calculated on a 10% deposit, 48 monthly installments, final GFV payment, and 80,000 kilometer contract limit. Changes to the deal and optional extras will impact finance offer. Offer valid until 31 December. Subject to stock availability. T's and C's apply.
A man driven to the edge. I don't know where you are. I don't know who you're with. When his beloved takeaway was taken away. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will eat you.
It's the summer of stars at Simply Asia. Stand a chance to win a Toyota Starlet when you spend 200 Rand or more on our famous flavors. Order now. Simply Asia. Connecting the Thaiway.
Sports Wrap.
Sports Wrap.
On 702 and Cape Talk.
Mwande Mateza joining us in studio to reflect on the sporting weekend. Look, I think F1 is dominant, so let's start there. I think McLaren have bottled it. The last two races, I think that it was there for the taking.
Yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon, Mandy. I could see an eventuality next week in Abu Dhabi where something happens to completely mess it up once again, like they did yesterday, and hand the title over to Max Verstappen. As it is, I mean, Lando Norris has still got the lead in the championship altogether, and he just needs to win or finish in the top three, and the title is his. But the way things have gone, especially the last couple of weeks with McLaren, I could see them messing up. It made no sense for them yesterday not to pit at least Oscar Piastri during that race when he was in the lead, when they had the safety car deployed, because in the end of it, you were always going to lose time. I can't imagine what they were thinking other teams would do. So yeah, I could totally see a big mess happening next Sunday again, and we'll be talking about Max Verstappen being a 5-time champion next week, Monday.
Look, it's not a given. I mean, I think that Lando could still, he has to finish in the top three. So and McLaren's had a pretty dominant season. So
yeah, but the thing with McLaren is when they wrapped up the constructors' title, I think that they should have chosen one of the drivers to back all the way to the hilt for the rest of the season, but they didn't do that. And in not choosing either of their drivers, they opened the door for Max Verstappen. It's crazy that he was 100 or so points behind after the Dutch Grand Prix in July or August. And he's caught up, winning the past three races in a row. I don't think that should have been allowed to happen. I think McLaren should have done better, and I don't think a big call has to be made sometime during this week that they're going to back one of them. And you'd think that they'd back Lando, but I don't think they're going to make that decision either. And it's a pretty easy one to make, I think.
Springboks, I think that McLaren were thinking in that moment what Eben Etzebeth was thinking when he stuck his finger.
I can't think that Eben Etzebeth was thinking at all. It's a very disappointing reaction from a very experienced player, and also such a nonsensical time of the game, with a minute or so left in the game. Whatever reaction or whatever the Irish or Welsh player could have done to provoke him, I don't think he should have reacted.
There was some eye gouging that provoked
but I don't think that. I expect better from Eben Etzebeth in that moment, regardless of what happened to him. And if there is a sanction against the Welsh player, so be it. But whatever sanction that Eben Etzebeth gets, and I think it will be a very hefty one, I can't think we can complain about it.
I've seen some reports suggesting that it won't be as hefty as we expect. And then I've seen, the full kind of gambit. I've seen some people saying he should be banned for life. I've seen some people saying that it will only be a short ban. People have views.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch. I could see him possibly coming back in time for maybe the playoffs in the URC April time. Probably will be lucky with the ban that he'll probably miss some of the Champions Cup matches as well, which will help bring him back a lot sooner than we expected. But I could see him at least 3 months. That would be my guess at the moment.
And Pirates are top of the log.
Fantastic. Yeah. Orlando Pirates had 2 games in hand over the past 7 days, and they played both of them. And they ended up winning both of them and are now at the top of the log, having played the same number of games with Mamelodi Sundowns. Now, the season is still a long way to go. There's 16 or 17 games I think they still have to play. So it's by no means a done deal. But I think Orlando Pirates this season do have what it takes to maintain, sustain a title challenge right up until the end. And it wouldn't surprise me if they took Sundowns right to the line.
Mwande, thank you very much, as always, wrapping up the weekend sport for us. Mwande Mateza.
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. That court appearance of the 4 people involved in the foreign mercenary case that's been postponed, just to let you know. Amongst those appearing in court was the SABC's Nonkululeko Muntala, amongst the accused, who can now be named as they've appeared in court. And I think the big focus is going to continue to be on the Madlanga inquiry. Lots of very interesting developments happening there. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking at 1 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Madlanga questions Mashazi on steps taken against sexual harassment complaints, and Itala Bank depositors to finally get their money back. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Let's begin